It won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel, that I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me. All you will see is a girl you once knew, although she's dressed up to the nines, at sixes and sevens with you. I had to let it happen. I had to change. Couldn't stay all my life down at heel, looking out of the window, staying out of the sun. So I chose freedom, running around, trying everything new, but nothing impressed me at all. I never expected it to. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. And as for fortune, and as for fame, I never invited them in, though it seemed to the world they were all I desired. They are illusions, they're not the solutions they promised to be. The answer was here all the
Alright, good. Great trip. So guys, we were talking about this area with my ladies here. I mean, this is where we work. That's why there's no people walking down the street. There's barely traffic. I mean, there's no traffic at all. From Monday to Friday, this is hell. All this area. Today's nothing. And this is July 9th Avenue, this boulevard. And July 9th, it's after the Independence Day. July 9th, 1816, our Independence Day from the Spanish. And this boulevard on the left links the north behind us to the south. This is the south. We're in the south. It doesn't link the entire city from north to south. Right here in the downtown. And down this avenue, mostly you, you're my friend here, a couple of blocks from here. Saturdays and Sundays, everything's closed. So I'm not saying it's dangerous, but it's a lonely area. No bars, no restaurants. Even the bars and restaurants here, they don't open because it makes no sense for them to open since there's no people living here. So today and tomorrow I have to walk a little more, maybe go to Recoleta. We're going to finish our tour visiting the cemetery. We're going to finish our tour in Recoleta neighborhood. There's a craft market, there's a lot of museums, there's a lot of restaurants and bars. So that's why during the weekends we finish the tour there, for you to enjoy the rest of the afternoon in that area, because here in downtown it's dead. Of course, if you want to go back to your hotels, I can do that. But what I'm saying is that in these areas, Saturdays and Sundays, nothing. So the whole idea is to follow history. First we're going to, now we're going to our next hotel, but then the main square where the city was founded, and from there south, and we're going to finish in the north in Recoleta, visiting again the cemetery where Vita is buried. Have you heard about Vita? Yes, good, perfect. Because some people's like, no, never heard about her. It's like, oh my god. But good. Yeah, I'm going to sing Don't Cry For Me at the end. It's like tour/show. Because my former president was a woman. And thing is, when the Spanish were here, we used to paint all buildings in the blood of the animals. The fat in the blood protects the walls from the water. It's a waterproof thing. Here on the left, the little statue, this is a founder of the city, Juan de Garay. Now you're going to see, and we're turning right, and on the left you're going to see the main entrance to the pink house. This is the main entrance, not the one facing the square. On the right you have the Argentinian Central Bank. And on the left, the main square where the city was founded. So they hate each other. And this is on the right, Boca. I don't know if you've heard about this team. It's pretty popular, actually. And this is where Maradona finished his career. Have you heard about Maradona? Yes, good. So back in 1910, there was a big celebration here. It was the first anniversary of the revolution. So all these communities living here, they sent us presents in order to say, congratulations on your revolution. Thank you for letting us live in here. So we have a lot of presents from different communities. We have presents from the Spanish, the Italians, the French, the Swiss, the Germans, the British. The Japanese gave us a Japanese garden, which is the biggest Japanese garden outside Japan back in the 60s. And I'm telling you this because now, next vlog, we're going to see the present from the British, which I call, it's not the Big Ben up there, it's the Little Ben. Can you see it straight ahead? On the right, behind the trees. Can you see it? Can you see the clock on top of the tower? That's a little bit. Thank you. The clock on top is a smaller replica of the clock on top of the Big Ben. The same house that did it. Now you're going to see it. Now you see the Little Ben? Behind the Little Ben, you have the train station, the subway station, the international bus station, and the port. So this is now Retiro neighborhood. This is a train station going north on the right. We have another train station going south, another train station going west, because on the east, which is on the right, that's the water, that's the river. The river's on the east. So north, west, and south linked by trains, buses, highways. Population of Buenos Aires, 2.8 million. But from Monday to Friday, there's... Here on the left, that's Chile Embassy. And I mentioned that the presidents do not live at the Pink House, they just work there from Monday to Friday. And they live outside the city in a special residence for Argentinian presidents. The next block, let me show you where Eva and Perón used to live. Have you heard about Evita? You said yes. Perón was a president at that time, back in the 40s, a very important Argentinian politician. He was the only president to be elected 3 terms in Argentina. And his wife was, Evita was just the first lady. She was not elected, she was not a politician, so she was the first lady of Argentina. Let me show you now where they used to live, because again, now presidents live outside the city, but at that time they used to live here in Recoleta neighborhood. It's going to be next block on the right. I don't know if you use meters. You do not use meters. You do in the UK, in Germany. What about you in the US? You understand? You use meters in the US? But you understand? Oh, no, but you understand, meters of, well, the concept of a block. Every time that I say block here, that means 100 meters. So every 10 blocks is 1 kilometer. That's easy. Guys, here on the right. Sorry, there's a lot of people parked here. They're occupying my spot. Here on the right, can you see Vita on the right? The only statue that she has in my city. So, the thing is, there was a beautiful house here. I'm not talking about the awful building on the right, which is a National Library created back in the 60s, 1961. There was a beautiful, it was not here. There was a beautiful house here, French side, black roof, Puerto Madero, the area that we just visited, the U.S. neighborhood where the second port was located. This is next. Here on the left, for instance, this is a Spanish embassy that belonged to a really important Argentinian family, yes, until the 40s. The UK is here, US is here. Peru, Chile, not all of them, but most of them are here in this neighborhood. Well, now you're going to see the Turkish on the right. Saudi Arabia on the left in a second. The Polish on the right, the Swedish on the left. Well, again, most of them are here. Well, the UK is also here, and you know when you voted for the Brexit, right? You voted as well. What was it, 2 years ago? Right after voting, they took off the EU flag. Right next day. Oh my God, they were so excited about this. Like, yeah. You think it's going to happen? It's not going to happen? I don't. Oh, you want it. You don't want it to happen, right? Yeah, right. It's complicated. Yeah, I know. Here on the left, remember this guy? We visited him earlier this morning. Our liberator, San Martin. Now he's buried inside the cathedral. So guys, here on the right again, the Spanish, because the Spanish embassy, they have like 2-3 different buildings. Right in front of the Spanish, in a black roof, you have the Italian. And in front of us on the left, that's a big house, huge mansion. That house once belonged to a really important Argentinian family, Alvear. Just one person lived there. And they lost everything, right? In the 30s, late 20s. And now it's a museum. You can visit the house exactly how they left it. All that wealth came from the countryside. Remember, agriculture still, well, at that time was like the main column of the Argentinian economy. Still is now. At that time was cattle, now it's soybeans. Now cattle's becoming more profitable again, but now it's soybeans, cattle, wheat, corn, olive, wines, well, different fruits. We are the third honey producer on the planet, and number 2 when it comes to exporting. So on the left, in a second, you're going to see the main square of this neighborhood, which is Plaza Francia, Friends Square on the left. This is where the craft market, they're sending the places. This is where we're going to finish our tour. Here on the right, you're going to see a big building with a lot of columns. That is the UBA, University of Buenos Aires, public for free for Argentinians and foreigners. Remember we were talking about this, that's why there's a lot of kids coming from different nations coming here to Argentina to study. Next block on the right, you're going to see a big flower that was created by an Argentinian artist to all Argentinian women as a present. And remember that I mentioned yellow fever? we're talking about that. The rich living in the south, they had to move in order not to die. This is the north. This is where they came to. Now it's like 20 minutes drive, 30 minutes drive, that's up to traffic. But at that time, there was no cars, no streets, no avenues. So it was like different carriages. Horses, the best scenario if you had like a lot of money. But this was like 1 hour in the north. This was safe, no yellow fever here. So from the south, they came here to live. So now we're going to visit a little bit of Palermo. Palermo is the biggest neighborhood in Buenos Aires. Every time you hear about Soho Palermo, Hollywood Palermo, Little Palermo, Old Palermo, Palermo Forest, this is the same district but different nicknames to recognize each area because it's huge. And that was named after an Italian saint. Remember either Italian saints or Spanish saints. So San Benito di Palermo, it's another Italian saint. Just like San Nicolas di Bari, where the obelisk is, or the Opera House. Remember the Opera House, guys? That is San Nicolas neighborhood. And this is Palermo, it's another Italian. This is the second most expensive district in Buenos Aires. The most expensive. Wide avenues, open spaces, a lot of trees. We wanted to look like the big European cities. So they hired at that time a French landscaper, Charles Thais, and he was in charge of designing all these areas here. Not just here in Buenos Aires, in a lot of different parks and squares in Argentina. And he was, since he was a Parisian guy, he was inspired the Champs-Élysées. This is now Recoleta. This is Recoleta. Recoleta neighborhood is after the monks that used to live here. Recoletos monks. These monks were expelled from here, I'm talking about 1821, because they had more power than the Argentina government. So the government said, get out. So Recoleta, the name of this place, is after the monks that used to live here. So on the left, 80% of these places are apartments. The other 20% is like practices or studios or somewhere. Recoleta, it's an amazing place. It's a very expensive area. It's an upper middle class part. Upper middle class families live here. You have a lot of things to do at night during the day, but for grown-ups, for kids, you have the craft market during the weekends, you have an art museum, atelier, art studios, history museums, a lot of all the international brands are here, right? Louis Vuitton, Ferragamo, Tiffany, Hermes, they're all here. Argentinian designers, well, the craft market. That's why we finish our tour here, because during the weekends there's a lot of, remember that the rest of the city, since we don't live here, it's all closed. Here you have the craft market, you have a lot of artists, you have the fine art museum, a lot of bars and restaurants. That's why during the weekends